I spend a lot of time lying on the floor in my room. I play games, do my homework, read books. I like to spend time on the warm floor or 구들장, especially when it's cold outside, like it is this year. That's why my mom calls me 구들장 ghost. My mother often scolds me for spending too much time lying on the floor. Whenever she sighs, I realize that the heated stone floor, or ondol, which is also called 구들장, has become an indispensable part of our everyday lives. Like the 구들장 ghost, Korean ghosts are not very scary. Ondol floors make sense only when they're heated with fire. Once the fire is put out, the floor becomes cold. You can't cook and your house loses its function. That's why there's a special kitchen god in our house overseeing fire. The kitchen god sits on a wood-burning stove and protects the family and health. He spends all of his time with my mother. He helps hardworking mothers who keep their kitchens clean, keep a fire in the fireplace, and cook delicious food for their families. The god also keeps the floor in the house warm. But what happens when the kitchen god refuses to do all that? The house becomes cold. The food is burned and all kinds of things you don't even want to imagine happen. That's why Korean mothers believe a warm meal and home are only possible when you do your best and the kitchen god helps you. Nowadays, people don't need to worry about keeping a fire in their homes and worshiping the kitchen god. But that doesn't mean we don't miss the traditional ondol floor. I first learned about 구들장 from my grandmother. She told me this story. A long time ago, there lived a family. When the mother and father went to work, their son and daughter were left home alone. Suddenly, a huge tiger appeared and tried to get into the house. The children locked the doors and inserted needles in the windows to keep the tiger from coming in. But the sly tiger deceived them by entering the fireplace. The tiger tried to get into the house through the stone floor. Seeing that, the son snuck out of the house through the back door, set fire to wet straw, and put it in the chimney. Smothered by the thick smoke, the tiger had no choice but to get out of the fireplace. It's an old story associated with Korean ondol floors. When I heard it, I was horrified a tiger or ghost might be hiding underneath my floor. But in no time, I became a 구들장 ghost myself. I have even discovered a place that's ideal for me. People here still use firewood to heat their houses and cook. Mothers cook for their families to the alluring scent of burning wood in the kitchen during cold winters and warm the rooms. When the family members come home, they snuggle under the covers and chat on the warm floor. Rooms without a kitchen are heated separately. Rooms heated early in the evening retain warmth until morning. That's because they have an excellent property for storing heat. The heat of wood spreads through the entire floor and exits through the chimney only when it cools down. Ondol is nostalgia. Smoke rising from a house's chimney evokes nostalgia in Koreans who cherish even the familiar scent. Ondol brings people together and helps them forget about the cold.
갑니다. 들었다. 조동은 달려갔다.
이거 이따 꼭 해야 돼?
야, 그게. 이게 처음에는 이렇게 뜨거워갖고는 이렇게 잘 쓰고 쓸 정도로 이렇게 참 뜨거웠는데 이게 자다 보니까 아침에 일어나다 보니까 그렇게 이 몸이 굉장히 가볍더라는 얘기죠. 그래서 이게 확실히 우리 그 선조들이 그 말씀하시는 그 구들장이 제대로 들으면 이게 구들장이 됐구나. 외국인 분들도 이런 데로 오셔서 한 번씩 이렇게 주무시고 가시는 것이 정말로 저는 최고라고 생각합니다. 그러니까 정말로 우리나라 한국에는 구들장이 최고라는 것을 제가 자랑하고 싶습니다.
Ondol refers to the traditional heated floor. It originated in cold northern regions and it was later introduced in southern regions as well. According to the annals of the Joseon dynasty, during the reign of King Gwanghaegun in 1624, the rooms of court ladies and even the servants of noblemen were equipped with ondol. In the 16th and 17th centuries, known as a mini ice age, ondol spread to all southern areas of the Korean peninsula. There are many funny stories associated with ondol. One is about King Sukjong, who made his servants work in a freezing place because they kept snoozing on a warm ondol floor. That was a side effect of ondol, which causes drowsiness. It's funny that being warm can be shortcoming. How can fire burning in a fireplace heat the entire house?
요거는 그 난방 전용 온돌로 만들었기 때문에 직접 그 불을 때는 함실이 이 부분에 있어서 불을 떼게 되겠고, 이 불이 이 고래뚝과 고래뚝 사이로 나가는 통로, 이거 고래죠. 고래로 연기와 열기가 지나가고, 이 열기와 연기는 고래뚝에 저장되고, 이 구들장은 이 고래뚝과 고래뚝 사이에 이렇게 올려서 위로 연기가 올라오지 않게 하고 이 열기가 이 속에 저장되게 하는 역할을 하는 것입니다.
When the heat cools down, it exits through the chimney. Western chimneys are tall, but traditional Korean chimneys are low to let the heat out. Let's find out how ondol is made. First, flues are piled up in different shapes to make paths for the heat. They're shaped differently according to the number of rooms and furnaces in the house. Usually, flues are lined up straight toward the chimney. They can also be lined up in the shape of a fan or diagonally. Sometimes when the chimney is next to the furnace, flues are lined up around it so the smoke goes around and exits next to the furnace. Once the floor is done, a fire is started in the fireplace. Heat passes through the entrance of the ondol floor. The entrance prevents smoke from flowing backward and helps the heat permeate the floor faster. The heat passes through flues and warms the floor. The flues are built higher than the furnace to let the heat better permeate the floor. This whole structure is covered with what we call gudelljang. It's also what I can't live without. Ondol floors in ancient palaces have been well preserved to this day. Ancient palaces used charcoal instead of wood to minimize smoke. Wood-burning stoves were never placed on top of furnaces to prevent fires. But the ondol structure in palaces is similar to that of ordinary ondol. Both commoners and royalty like to stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Quarters where the king's mother and queen lived had unique chimneys. The king's mother's quarters, Chagyongjeon, had 10 chimneys installed on the northern wall and decorated with 10 traditional symbols of longevity. Each chimney is reminiscent of artwork.
우리 전통 온돌은 온돌은 현장에서 직접 떼서 바닥을 덮이기 때문에 전달하는 그런 손실이 없습니다. 또 하나는 바닥을 뜨겁게 하기 때문에 실내 온도가 낮아도 실내가 쾌적하게 유지되기 때문에 에너지를 절약할 수 있겠죠. 또 하나는 바닥이 뜨겁게 함으로 말미암아 이 발은 따뜻하고 머리는 차게, 그래서 두 한 종류를 이용하기 때문에 우리 건강에 좋습니다. 그리고 신발을 벗기 때문에 이 신발을 신으면 흙이나 먼지를 끌고 들어오기 때문에 청결하에 영향을 미치는데 신발을 벗어서 우리가 청결하게 실내를 유지할 수 있는 장점이 있습니다.
Koreans are born and raised in Ondol rooms. When they grow old, they treat their diseases with Ondol and die on the Ondol floor. After death, they are reborn into Ondol and worshipped by their descendants. Ondol is the beginning and the end of life for Koreans. That is why, whether in life or death, I strive to always be the 구들장 ghost.